dealing with this Wind Waker.
Because no one else had it, right? Yeah, he's the only one. It's a little awkward for an IO to go ahead and do it sometimes, but he's a kind of tanky IO. So.
Yeah, he doesn't die immediately in these fights. I mean, honestly, the last few ones, he doesn't die easily at all. So GH will get to press these buttons. He'll get the Hex off, get the Nullifier off, very likely.
Omar now with the Aghanim, still got level 25 talent. Also some good scouting with these triple rockets. Does see a lot of Yandex in the area. Power rune. It'll be a shield rune.
Oh, Saxa.
Roche gonna start shifting. And next, immediately starting to pivot toward it. There's that blue hole. Storm now having it at the ready. One of the most storms I think you'll see in some time here. Almost 50,000 net worth for him. Hook shot.
They're gonna pick off.
And that's
catch themselves, Saxa.
It's a dieback. 120 seconds that he won't be there. Another jump Lornoff, looking for more. Sox has been so important for the team for the stunts. It's been a bit of a slower one for him in the second half of this game, but 100 seconds without a big one of their AoE stuns.
And what do you do now for Enigma Galaxy? Are you running down a lane? Are you looking to take the Roshan?
Maybe look for another kill. If they do so in a position, you have great ways that you're shoving these lanes in. Bottom has Eidolons pushing in. You have Book of the Deads as well, shoving Eidolons, shoving mid as well. They have triple lane momentum pushing out, so they could even threaten Rose perhaps here with this kill. See if they do want to go for that here with all these lanes pushing. They're going to start it.
They do a pretty decent damage, of course, excellent sustain now. Yep. Just at this point with how farmed everybody is, pretty much in this game. I mean, we are 71 minutes
71 in.
71 minutes in.
Everybody's big. Another bauble. There it is for Lornoff. 80% bonus on that Timeless.
Can they contest this 4 versus 5? Do they want to try? Seems risky.
They'll get information. They don't want to give this one away. Can they find Devi? Is Devi going to get a massive black hole? The potential is absolutely there.
This is looking terrifying for them. Oh, it's
arrow.
A double arrow.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty nice.
You don't really see double arrow hit cores like this. Following. Eyes in. X.
They're going to be able to get the Hex on the Chira Juniors there on there in time to bail them out. They have the Wind Waker once more. It's enough to get him up in the air, get the chance to put the BKB. He'll try and roll over towards GH, but he's falling low. Watson coming in from the side. Chira Junior has to roll up to safety now. The BKB coming to an end. Omar's going to get picked off outside of the pit, but the space is there for them to finish Roshan. They actually end up getting the kill themselves. Yandex, but Lornoff got the pickup. He picks up the cheese, picks up the Aegis here on the Storm, makes the jump straight over to Malady. Scythe comes in. They'll take Malady out. Roll for Chira Junior. Still wants to try and go for this.
Black
hole though again. Divine catching the 2 big cores. Catches Watson. Catches Chira Junior as both will fall. DM goes for the BKB TP. He'll get out of there.
Devi, time and time again.
Every time. He's got the patience. He waits for the perfect moments. And he's always finding at least 2 cores minimum with these black holes.
He's just getting so much information from his cores. The Storm jumping in, zip-zapping all over. The Necro as well. Look at the damage. I mean, Devi pinging it.
I mean, this
solo killed Watson.
And they could buy back if they want, but he's still got this refresher shot. He can go for a second one here. Devi.
Lornoff also picked up, I believe, all of the rest of the stuff from the Roche, right? The Aegis, the cheese, the refresher shard. He does pop the refresher immediately.
Devi's ready to go again.
Push on both fronts. Top lane also dying to the Book of the Dead. Sumail poking the Aeon disc.
And they buy time to not have to afford to use these buybacks. Lornoff's trying to force them out. Yeah.
They're just hitting the buildings at this point. Arrow dodged again.
30 seconds. The 2 of them are up.
Eidolons are pushing top.
That's going to be the jump, but they're going to use the buybacks on the 2 of them. See what they can do here. Roll forward over towards GH. Devi's going to be looking for that perfect opportunity. They're going to back off for now, Enigma Galaxy. There's the jump back in Devi. This time he's going to catch only DM. Is it enough? It's not. He has to hold back, put a stop to the black hole, and back off. Lornoff's caught by this mass silence here. Multiple. He's been sextupled silent, this IO. He'll somehow still be able to TP out there, GH. Chira Junior going to hold himself in position here with
Lornoff
looking to get on top of Watson. Watson trying to stand his ground here with the BKB. He's able to get the sun.
Thunder.
Himself back on a half HP. Lornoff low on the man and caught by another round of the silence, but he's surviving through it. Lornoff will fall, but the damage is done to bring Chira Junior out. Watson. Got a back off now. Buybacks coming in from Enigma Galaxy. Both Lornoff and Sumail ready to return to the fight, the push.
Yandex used so much of their tank.
And no
Enigma still has more.
Watson, DM and Sax, they're going to try and hold him for the life. Sumail's fully low. Can they keep him alive? Sumail's gone.
He's dead.
He's dead. throws over towards Omar. Wants the BKB. Shiva's got to slow them down, but the Hex is there. He's gone. It's over. GG is called. Nigma Galaxy. My goodness. They take game one.
What an unbelievable recovery in this game. It peaked at what, 22K gold lead? I can't remember. But the clutch factor, Divide gets the multi-hero black holes when they needed to.
Man, well, I mean, we said at the start, well, for the first 30 minutes, we were
It's gonna be him.
It's gotta be Divide. It's gotta be Divide. And my goodness, was it Divide. He delivered time and time again with these black holes. And it was just too much for Yandex.
That was an unbelievable comeback from them. Just having the confidence to be able to still play around it. We said, right, the threat of the BKB Black Hole, sure, they've got Wind Wakers, but the saves, they just weren't there in multiple situations. And the big comeback, really, around that triangle, when he gets the double Black Hole at that 20K, they just start to swing things completely around. Get the Roshans, get Lornoff in order. What a recovery for them.
Again, I don't think any other teams could do what Nigma Galaxy do.
They're on another level with how they play, with their type of strategy right now.
Yeah, a team that you don't want to be ahead of, you don't want to be behind. You know, Nigma Galaxy finds some sort of way to close up these games. And Yandex, I think they're going to be a little lost for words after that one. It's going to be interesting to see how they come back after that game one. What a performance. Nigma Galaxy opening up the series with an absolutely incredible victory.
The beauty of an Enigma right there. The fact that at any point, it doesn't matter what network lead your opponent has, you can always get a black hole that will change the game, that will turn the tides into your favor. Divide carried in the way that everyone needed him to, if you're an Enigma fan out there. And Senior, I just can't believe what we were able to see that time and time again, a 2-man, a 3-man black hole, and its cores being caught in it too.
I mean, it's the best feeling in the world when you're an Enigma player. You know, like, you play this hero so many hours in pubs, nothing will ever top this. This is, for Divide, I promise you, if they win this year's TI, this moment will be what he ties it to, because what an amazing showing he had. And, you know, you always dream of getting to play these games where you don't have to buy these lame, boring Helmet Dominator 2, drums, pipe, whatever items. You just want to buy BKB Blink. You got to go Axe Shivas, get the Giga Black Hole, and just carry the game with it. It was honestly such a treat to watch. I'm so happy we got this.
It was amazing. Go ahead, Quinn.
No, it's astounding. Like, Nigma Galaxy is one game away from top 3 at the International. Let that sink in for a second. Think about where they were 1, 2, 3, 4, any number of months ago.
They didn't even have this roster 2 months ago.
Holy crap.
I really think it's so cool that now at this TI, every single player on Nigma Galaxy has clutched a game and has been the reason that they won that game. Yesterday, we had it with the supports in GH and Noma. They were the reason they were winning that game. We've had Lornoff clutch so many games. Samel clutched so many games. Now Davai Lama got the last pick Enigma, and he absolutely delivered. This was his magnum opus. This is the kind of game he's going to brag to his daughter about. He talked about it in the interview. 10 years from now, he's like, by the way, let's watch my TI 2026 game on Enigma. Like, again, for the 30th time.
I mean, this is a thing that, yeah, legacies are built on, not just players, but also lineages as well. I mean, Divide is such a beautiful showing. Of course, it is a bit of a head-scratcher for Yandex, considering how well that early game went for themselves, but the threat of the black hole, the punishment of a black hole will always loom, and it goes back to what you said, Quinn. Until there is those words, those green letters spelling out victory, you're never going to win against an Enigma. You're never going to win against an IO lineup, which was the big question mark when it was picked up as a first pick in this draft.
Yeah, it looked like they had great answers for it through the entire game, but they just couldn't close it out. They were dominating. They were honestly batting them around like a cat playing with his food. It didn't even feel like it was particularly close for a large degree, and then suddenly 1 fight, 2 fight, and you start to feel the doubt creep in that maybe this game's not over anymore. You see Sumel's face. I think that's how we all felt at home. It was, I don't know, it's a crazy game, and I think what Mira said, and the casters as well, how do you recover from a loss like this? Because this is, it's the opposite of what they had the other day against Liquid, where they come back from a game, they win the game, and then they get the momentum to snowball the next one. Now you've had a game that was totally under control, and it slipped through your fingers, and now you're left like, what the heck do we do with this?
Yeah, this is make or break. It's a confidence killer. And I mean, if Yandex are going to make top 3, they're going to have to be able to clutch it out. So if they don't have the confidence to recover from this, then this isn't the stage for them.
I feel like a team of their caliber, honestly, they will find their footing back in game 2. I think at the end of the day, you're just going to chalk this up to we messed up some team fights, and that's all that happened. We don't need to think about it too much more than that. But honestly, Dalai Lama, obviously the MVP of this game, but I have to say, Sumail at TI, he has this killer instinct that I don't really see from any other carry player. Like this moment on the top wave where he travels in, jumps in, kills Earth Spirit, and just dies is just like, but then it ends up being like sets up Lauren off for all this team fighting stuff, and he enables his teammates so much by having this killer instinct, and I love to see it. It's my favorite thing about watching Sumail.
Yeah, it's the second time he's bought a blink on Necrophos as well. He just blinks in, and also the way he uses Scythe. He's not waiting until people are at the last sliver of HP. He's like full HP, has confidence in his team to deliver the damage. He blinks in Scythe, full HP, and then whoop, gone. Like, it's... I don't know, he's clearly very good at this hero, can push the limits super well, and I totally agree. Some people just have it, and this guy has always just had it, and it's taken him a while to finally get back on a team that also has it, and now they can have it together.
Yeah, I think that speaks to his understanding, too, of Storm Spirit as a hero. Like, to get Storm Spirit's excellent jump, to get Enigma's very good jump, you need a hero to just blink in and cause chaos. You need someone who's willing to sacrifice their body to create the situations to set up for multiple man black holes, to set up for those electric vortexes with the Agnum Scepter. He understands that, and that's why he was able to do that for his team.
Method to the madness that is Nigma Galaxy, but on the flip side, Yandex, they were very methodical in their early game. They knew exactly how they wanted to play lanes out of it, and everything was going perfectly for themselves until those moments. But we want to wind it back a little bit. We want to have a look at all those perfect moments for Yandex, and the person to bring us that and break it down for us is Purge.
Thank you, Nat. Yeah, a long time ago in the game, but if you remember what happened in the laning stage, it went a little bit better for Yandex for sure. They started the game off with a nice 9-1 score here, and that meant that Nigma Galaxy had to wait until their Greaves finished on Storm Spirit to give him the confidence to fight. Because before that, all he had to get hit by was one silence from the Earth Spirit, and he was going to be chain stunned and killed. So finally, they took this fight at the 16-minute mark. But there was another crucial thing that kind of lined up at the exact same time. The time that their Greaves is ready, the Spirit Vessel is ready to go on Earth Spirit, which means that now their Necrophos plus their IO in the safe lane is likely going to have a bad time. Here's that Greaves going to pay off here on Lorinov up here. See, he gets silenced, instantly removes it, and that gives him, with the Black Hole, the ability to get a kill. So good things and bad things for Nigma, because the Spirit Vessel was a big terror here. Here's Sumail getting exploded by it. He's supposed to be getting heals from any kills he gets. He's supposed to be getting heals from the IO. Neither of these is giving him much here. As a result, he ends up dying quite a few times in this early phase of the game. Another Black Hole here ends up getting interrupted early by the impending arrow, and they actually take a pretty good fight here, despite things not looking the best. But that's because the Earth Spirit wasn't able to be at this fight. This easy kill that should have came onto the Necrophos just wasn't there because the vessel that was rampaging them just wasn't an option. But I just want to take a look at the kill score really quick. It was 17-5 at some point in this game. You would think that would be completely one-sided, but the reality was that Nigma did a really good job zoning enemies. Omar here is going to break the smoke, this gank attempt, and in the meantime, every single other member of their team was hitting creeps. They know that their fighting isn't as good in their early game, but they knew that in the late game, it was going to be better. But one more thing that I wanted to show you guys, the pickoffs from Yandex here, this really cool observer ward spotted the Necrophos moving over. They had to continue getting kills, or this farming playstyle of Nigma Galaxy was going to get out of control. It did eventually, but they had a great early game with a ton of kills. It just wasn't enough.
Thank you, Pouch, and a massive props to Yandex as well. They're the things that we're hoping they're focusing on when they do look towards a game number 2, knowing that everything they did right was... that they did early on was right, and that, yes, at the end of the day, sometimes you just get black holed and you say, all right, it's a TI stage. They gave the fans what they wanted, but it's time for us to claw this best of 3 back. Be more aware of it as well, because there's always that question. A black hole will always exist. That's in the toolkit of an Enigma, and so how do you combat that? Maybe slightly better positioning, but that's the question I'm posing to you guys too. If we were to run back this draft again, how often are we going to be seeing these black holes connect the way they did if, Yandex is just that slight bit more mindful?
I mean, I think the biggest counter to Enigma is not a counter to, it's not an actual counter to black hole. It's not something that cancels it. It's awareness. It's a consciousness of where he might be and where everyone else is standing. Because, to be honest, I think the TI stage got to them a little bit in this game. They're clumping in ways that are very, very silly, and he's getting big black holes because of it. I mean, this one, he's just way too deep. But I think in a lot of instances, Cheer Jr. and Watson are just standing very near each other, and that just can't be happening. You have to understand that this fight is hinged around this one spell, and you position for it. And I really think it is the TI pressure that just gets to you. You lose yourself a little bit. You're trying to continue magnetized, and suddenly you're both black hole and you're dead.
This black hole to me was the big game changer. Like the one where CJ overextended and got black hole, that's fine. It's fine to trade your spirit for a one-man black hole. You were still doing great. But this one here is where Nigma Galaxy felt like the game could be theirs. A few minutes later, they turned it to another one. But you can't give up your lead in a way on these heroes, because while you mentioned awareness is very important, it's just the nature of Yandex's heroes. Like, Earth Spirit plays in the middle of the fight. It's how he is. Terrorblight, in order to do damage, he needs to enter the fight as well. They're gonna naturally end up close to each other sometimes. In this fight, like, Watson played the outskirts. He was waiting for his moment to come in. You can't just wait around forever. And right here, Lorinov comes in and gives Devi his Greater Healing Lotus or whatever. Like,
That's crazy.
yes, the IO relocate saved him, but it was actually his Storm Spirit who saved him first. If Lorinov wasn't, like, aware in that moment, I think GH would have been 1 second too late.
I mean, that's just, I mean, honestly, like, look at the coordination in this fight and all the things that have to go right for Nigma to win that team fight there. And what a beautiful okay we get there from Devi as well at the end of it.
Yeah, no, what's needed. That was pretty good from all of us.
But I think if you run this draft, like, literally, they play the same draft 10 more times, I think Yandex probably wins 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. I was going to see if Aiden was going to give us a 9 out of 10 and 8 out of 10 times if we ran it back.
I mean, to be optimistic towards Yandex, they skill checked Nigma very hard in the laning stage.
Yeah.
Like, mid lane got crushed. Side lanes got crushed. Saksa was everywhere. Like, Saksa was cooking so hard on this Hoodwink, getting the first blood on the Necrophos, running mid. He was the primary mover for Yandex in terms of starting the tempo and the snowball. And Saksa is a player who, while he is playing with a lot of younger, more inexperienced players, he's been in these positions before. He's lost games that should have been won. He's the player that I would look to for Yandex to regroup them and recenter them for game 2.
I fully agree. You've got a roster that's clearly capable. You won tournaments throughout this year. You've gotten a lot of podium finishes. You've been there at the top of the level, and Sox has done it all before, right? He's won the TI. So I don't know. I think you just have to just be chill, and it's easier said than done, right? I've been in situations. I've been in situations with Malady and Watson, and it's not that easy to regroup after these games. But they've done it before. They've had the experience, and I think they will be capable of doing it. They know they won this game, and it just slipped away from them at the end.
A TI winning team has to be resilient. It's just part of what you have to go through to get there in the end. And I think this is a time for them to show that they are.
Was there any like special, I don't want to say like a trick, but was there anything that you did, Quinn, or you felt that the team did when you were with Watson and Malady that was very easy to be able to get them to reset? Like, was it a certain thing that needed to be said? Was it a certain viewpoint to be shared? And they were very easily switched to, hey, you're kind of right.
I think a lot of the talking that has to go down is sort of, you have to accept a little bit what went wrong, but you don't want to harp too much on it. So there's a fine balance there of this is kind of bad and we messed this up, but it's okay. You don't want it to be from a super negative lens of we suck and being a Debbie Downer, because that's not the time or the place for that. It's not the time to fix problems. This is the time to accept what went wrong and now move on to the future. Okay, we did this. It's okay. We don't actually really need to change anything. Let's keep our mental stable and solid and just talk things through and refocus on ourselves, not get sucked too much into, I need to do more to fix the problems. But everything was fine. It's all fine. These things just happen, and we go next.
Absolutely agree. And I think one of the key things you said there is sometimes I think you can get hung up on the last game and you start talking about like what happened in the game and what we should have done different. But next game's different. Dota always starts over from 0-0. Even though you're one game down, it's technically nothing changed. You're starting from scratch. Nothing from last game should affect your next game. And even though you might have messed up your positioning in this game, it doesn't mean that you're going to do it in the next game. So I feel like the faster they can reset, the faster they can leave that game behind them and just go into the game thinking it's 0-0, we're playing match 1, let's destroy them, the better.
Yeah, I think it's right on the nose. And I think they have the capability to do it. And we talk about Saksa a lot, but I think when you have this guy on your team, it just puts so much belief and so much faith into you, because this guy is just a beast. And I think there are players like this that don't talk a lot, but when they do talk, you listen. I know Zai was like that when I played with him for a little bit, and I think Saksa's like that. He's not someone who talks all the time. He's not a yapper or some goober guy. But I think after a game like that, he says, yo, guys, it's fine. I messed up. I'm sure he accepts some blame, and you're like, yeah, it's fine. This GOAT said it's fine.
Yeah, I also do remember from the Tundra vlog after they won TI, I think there was a similar moment where he just tells them, like, guys, it's all good. We're going to destroy them. So he has done it before.
he is that motivational speaker when it comes to the side of Yandex. He's been in varying different positions when it comes to a TI, but Enigma Galaxy with one game up, the question is also posed to them. How did they feel coming into a game 2? Because whilst it was a massive nail-biter towards the end and you walk away victorious, you're also sitting there with that little reminder in the back of your head, we almost got stumped. We almost had no game 1 for ourselves.
Yeah, you never want to play for the Enigma turnaround. We're going to get stomped and then we're going to claw our way back. That's never the game plan. And I think for them, they're going to look towards their lanes. While this room looked amazing towards the end of the game, I think Earth Spirit just played for free for the first 25 minutes, and that's because they picked Storm into it. Earth Spirit naturally counters the hero, especially with people maxing Geo Grip by level 10 now. I don't think we'll see something like that be replicated. Lorenov is going to respect whatever hero CJ has.
Yeah, I do think, in reference to the draft, though, Enigma has got they've got something going that's like good for them. I think not a lot of teams would necessarily like the heroes they have, but it's this nice mix of aggression while also these big team fight scaling. Because to be honest, I think Enigma is not quite a clean enough team to just play a draft that tries to full stomp you. I think they want some aggression in their heroes, but they also want the scaling in the team fight. And I think they're getting that a lot from Sumel's Necrophos. Obviously, there's some in the Enigma as well, but I think having heroes that can just run in and be tanky is a big part of why this team fighting for them is possible. Is because they have heroes that can just frontline, and that makes late game execution so much easier, having a hero that is fine getting gone on. Because if you have to play like ninjas hiding in the shadows and no one can get jumped, the game is very hard.
And I think that's the problem they kind of did have for the first portion of the game. You know, they're supposed to have this impossible wall to break in the Wisp and the Necro, but Chira with his I'm blanking hard on the name of the item. Spirit Vessel absolutely countered that. So I mean, if I'm Yandex and I'm going to this next draft, I'm thinking like, our draft was good. We can beat IO. I don't think it's like this was some impossible game for them at all. So this is always an interesting position to be in, because I remember we used to say on Liquid a lot that we did not like losing to the same draft twice. We didn't like losing to the same concept twice. And the question here is, are they going to be willing to give them IO once more? Or do they feel like this is the only way that Enigma can win, and we don't want to give them their best heroes, and we want to mix it up for that reason?
I do hope that the takeaway isn't we lost to IO, but rather we lost to Black Hole. And then I don't want them to change too much and overcorrect, because if they're banning IO, they don't have the potential to take it for themselves as well.
You could find reassurance in what Axel said from the coach's interview as he left that booth, right? The information that Tsunami was able to get out of him is they're a team that doesn't overthink the draft. There was a potential for an IO flex. There was a potential for so many different things to come out when we saw them let through what no other team was willing to do against Enigma Galaxy. And I love that. It means he's such a straight shooter. He's able to calm the boys down a little bit in some way, shape, or form as well. And when we do get into that Game 2 draft, it is going to be a blank slate, and it is going to be very straightforward. They don't want to overcomplicate anything by too much. And he also has massive confidence. He said TB is a Watson hero. It is his hero, in fact. So I just love that everything is coming together, where we know a lot about Kuro and how he is as a coach, but not getting to hear as much from Axel, but just the small amount that he's able to give us gives me confidence that a Game 2 is going to be probably even better for Yandex somehow.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's also going to be very different because the sides will be most likely have flipped. Yandex will be first pick while they were second pick last game. And so there is no possibility that Enigma even gets IO this game. If anything, Yandex gets it or it's banned. And so the shoe is on the other foot. It's up to Enigma to decide, do we want to play against this monster of a hero that we see winning so many games right now? Same thing with the Bounty Hunter, another hero that Yandex had to ban that they now most likely will not have to if the sides have flipped. And so not only is it a new game and that it's 0-0, it's a new game and the draft order is different, which changes everything and is something that is also funny about losing a game 1, and that it won't even be the same problems you're facing as it was last game.
Yeah, there's all those elements added to it there. And I just love that we're getting some of the stats as well from what happened in game number 1. I love just knowing how long the game went, the turnaround that happened, and these questions of how different takeaways can be when you see a game play out the way that it did. That's the fun and the joy of Dota, is that no one's wrong when it comes to that was an issue. You can all be correct, but which is the one that you want to tackle right now in a best of 3?
I honestly don't know. Like, it's hard games to draw conclusions from, because like so much of your game went according to game plan. Like, I don't think I could look at Yandex and be like, oh, this guy wasn't performing or something like that. So yeah, we just have to see.
As tough as game 1 was, they're all going to have to buckle up and be ready for game number 2.
Team Yandex versus Nigma Galaxy. Game 2.
What you were alluding to, Quinn, is correct. It is going to be Yandex with the first pick here. So that order has changed up. If an IO is left into the pool, then it's very easy for Yandex to be able to take it for themselves. And again, we've already spoken about it. They were comfortable running it mid yesterday. They were comfortable running it core yesterday. And of course, as what we've just seen, it's still very, very, very viable in the support role.
Yeah, it most certainly is, and I'm super curious to see if Nigma gives it or not. They are sort of the IO masters. They are one of the first teams. Yeah, okay, there it is. So they think the hero's too good. They respect it just as much as everybody else does. And I think this, if we get to see a game 3, I know drafts are also so interesting, the progression of them. I'd be very curious, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I think the Necrophos ban is also very, very good. This hero has been instrumental in a lot of Nigma's wins. With the Nature's Prophet ban as well, that's a lot of the heroes that have been super key for Nigma, and so they're going to have to go to something different because it's not a draft that's going to be the same.
I mean, Earthsphere is still left in the pool. I do think that Earthsphere gave them a lot in that game 1, and I think CJ did deliver in the early game. He's had some performances on Earthsphere where I felt that he wasn't as comfortable as others. We've seen like Nolan or Anisha, but in that game 1, he popped off. I really hope he doesn't lose confidence in it. And this Vibrant pick tells me he does kind of feel that he lost confidence in it.
This is a really interesting position. I actually don't know if Lorinov even wants to play Earthsphere.
He does not.
It's not the end game carry, right? And he wants to be the scaling guy.
Yeah, I totally agree, Mira, that I think I think CJ played a great game early game. I do think you could see the lack of comfortable on the hero as more time passed. I think when you get to the late game, some of the item decisions are a little bit off. Some of the team fights letting Magnetize slip and not continue either on himself or other people. The positioning, just little tiny things. It felt like he was a little bit uncomfortable in the hero compared to some of his others. And I think there's a reason they skip on it, right? I think he's like, I'd rather not. And it seems like, hey, fair enough. We've gotten this far without playing the hero, as they've skipped it a lot before this series. And Nigma also doesn't like it. So I think while at the same time it's maybe a little cowardly, I can also respect it.
It makes sense for them, I feel like. And I'm really curious to see, because Nigma, like you said, a lot of the heroes that we've seen them win on in this main stage of TI are banned out. There is no Necro, there is no Nature's Prophet, no Wisp, no Bounty. They looked for those heroes in previous days in order to get to this point. So I feel like we're going to see something fresh from Nigma, and I'm really excited for it.
You know what's really funny about this Wyvern is when I look at Wyvern, I think of it as an anti-Lone Druid hero, but it's not a hero that I associate with Nigma, nor do I think they play particularly well. So to me, it's just, we have a Winter Wyvern. They cannot Enigma us at any point ever. Okay, we have our BKB piercing disable. We've secured a strong laner. We've secured team fight. This is not happening to us.
Yeah, that's the BKB Black Hole is definitely off the table. I think it's funny if both teams just pick their 5s. I think that's actually quite a rare thing in drafting. Oftentimes cores are the more defining hero in drafts, and they are the ones that enable your supports. So you pick some strong dude who does a certain thing really well, and that lets you know, okay, we want follow-up damage in our supports. We want a guy who starts fights. And I think cores tend to be the heroes that let supports pick the way they want to. Whereas when you pick 2 supports like this, it doesn't actually define that much.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting way to approach the draft, because I usually like to think of first pick as you're trying to create this like unbeatable draft, where second pick is trying to respond to. But yeah, that's actually really funny.
Dude, they pick Wyvern and they ban Enigma. The Violama terrified them. Like this, if this isn't trauma, I don't know what is.
I will also tell you that Watson hates this hero.
Oh, yeah?
Enigma?
Before the series, yes. Every single time he gets the last phase ban Enigma. It doesn't matter if he's playing 4 gyrocopters. He wants to ban Enigma so bad.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Obviously, like Enigma in that game kind of became like their Doom, and I think another hero that can accomplish similar goals is Doom, which is, you know, eventually he gets so strong, he has this big AoE disable that doesn't let you play the game, and there isn't really much you can do about it. I don't know if I've seen the Violama play it, but it's a hero that I feel like was really effective in the previous series, and a hero that I think personally is extremely strong, as it puts that ticking time bomb on you.
That's a great point, but I don't like it as a concept just based on how lanes went in game 1.
That's fair.
Like, they got completely demolished on lanes, and I think Doom does not provide that game-changing moment the same way that Enigma does to justify losing lanes.
That's fair.
On the topic of Divide, I think the casters mentioned the moment where normally you see him like freaking out every time he gets a kill. There's some big fight. Divide like slams the desk, and the fact that he was very chill after that big black hole, which does the okay sign, I think also shows his progression as a player, that he's not super emotional anymore. He's more like even keeled and calm and chill, which I think is really important at TI. It's very easy to get sucked into those emotions, but staying calm and focused on the game and not getting sucked into this other stuff. At the end of the day, what matters is the screen in front of you. There may be all this cool stuff around you, and that's what makes it awesome and special. But what matters to you personally is the screen.
Yeah, it's always felt like he's been the type of person to keep an even temper, which is kind of rare for players who haven't experienced as many TIs as veteran players, like no one, for example.
This Largo is interesting because I feel like Nigma, is, in general, even like dating back to TI7 Liquid, they like to play a heavy sustain drafts, and they like to play drafts where like they can group up and play together. And Largo is one of the best heroes to enable that kind of style. So I feel like this ties back into like similar concepts that we saw in the previous games, where they're trying to build this unbreakable wall.
But there's a lot of burst heroes left for Yandex, like Lina and SF, that they love to play, which are pretty good against Largo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's. I just think it's like it fits the concept that they want to go with.
And Kez is also a burst hero. It is the melee version. It makes sense for a lane with Winter Wyvern.
Yeah, it's a solid pairing. I imagine the lane is pretty good against Largo and the tempo is high. And I think those are two of the best things against Largo, because the hero is quite farmy. It's quite slow. In some ways, it's sort of a carry hero from the off lane. Even though he's a healer, so much of it is about getting those item timings. And if you're going to win the lane, and Kez is going to play faster than a lot of carries compared to something like Shadow Fiend or heroes like that, turrets, I think it fits thematically, and Watson is very, very comfortable on the hero.
Rubik's kind of interesting because I don't really see anything in particular that you want to pick it against.
Yeah.
There's, like, usually you want to pick it either as a, you see some spells that you want to steal, or you have this lane matchup that's really good for him, or you want to prevent some sort of Underlord pick coming out, because he's very effective against Underlord. But we already see Largo from Nigma, so it makes me think, like, what is it that they see here? Because I personally don't. Hoodwink's still in the pool. It worked. It was a great hero for them in the last game, but opting for Rubik, a little bit more scaling, perhaps.
My guess is that they want to pick Doom, and they want a hero that can lane with Doom and protect against a potential enemy taking Rubik, with the idea that maybe a Doom or an Underlord, for example, will come out. Because a Doom or Underlord on 18 would make the Rubik very justified, because it's kind of a block pick in that sense.
Yep. It has natural synergy together for sure, and it's like, it's an interesting hero because at the moment I don't see that much purpose for it, but we might see it down the line.
Yeah, if you do get to steal Arrow, it's completely bonkers, but it's kind of difficult to do so. But
yeah.
I played some pub against it, and I kept getting arrowed by a Rubik, and I was just stuck for 4 hours. So if they actually do get it, then you don't get to play the game anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
I feel like that's the next stat we need to implement, is how much time you've been stunned by the arrow specifically.
Lots is the answer.
Lots, way too much.
Nigma have also used considerably more reserve time, which I think they actually tend to dig pretty heavily into it in general. When I look at their drafts, some teams pick very quickly. They don't use that much reserve time. I think Nigma thinks quite a bit in the earlier picks, and then it can cause you troubles on your last pick, especially when you have the absolute last pick like they do. So it can make Lornoff's choice, or whoever has the last pick here, a little bit dicey.
I think it's also due to the fact that a lot of the heroes are banned out, right? It is a little bit of a trickier draft for them. They have to reach into their pool of heroes right now and find something different.
I'm kind of surprised that Clinks came out. Like, it's a big burst damage hero. It can fight the Kez, and it can like really make lives difficult for supports like Wyvern and Ruvik. But you have a Hoodwink and you have a Mirana. You have like these ranged spellcasters. You don't have guys that are going to stun for them. Like, I feel like the draft looks kind of wonky to me. Unless Lornoff gets on some DK mid or something, it looks off. Maybe that's just my read.
Oh, there's definitely validity to that. And it's all like they all played a similar range. Like, I think they do have disable, but it's not the kind of disable that goes in and starts stuff. It's a lot of skirmish stuff. And the issue when you have a ton of skirmish is when the game gets to sort of this 20-30 minute mark, it's not that reasonable for supports to start fights anymore. Generally, you want cores to start because the supports go in first, and you say bushwhack a guy, well, then suddenly you get lifted and you get insta-killed by Kez. And now you're down one hero, and they have saves still waiting behind. So not having a core going into last pick that starts fights can be really weird, because it can force Lornoff down a specific path because they feel like their draft needs something.
I hope they can escape that, because I feel like when we've seen them shine is when Lornoff gets to be that win condition. I do think this is where Sumail's like kind of killer instinct type player could come in clutch for them, where he will just like run around and play so aggressively on the supports and try to rely on him knowing his limits extremely well to survive. But this Earth Spirit pick to me looks extremely scary. I feel like Yandex has very good draft integrity right now, and some of the strongest heroes that we've seen this patch.
Yeah, they have a bunch of heroes that go in, a bunch of heroes that follow up. Great team fight, great scaling. You want to have all your bases covered and also strong lanes. If you've got all of that, if you've got good ways to play the game, but also you don't get smashed early, it's sort of like the perfect draft in theory, because you don't have clear weaknesses that can be exploited, and you can make moves and get the game rolling. Earth Spirit is super good against Clinks because you just find him, and if you get on him, he just dies. You're super tanky. You naturally buy Crozier, so you don't care so much about his Skelly boys. There's a lot of good things about it.
You've covered your bases as well in terms of damage variety, in that Kez is going to be very heavily physical and cause problems in that sense, while Earth Spirit's going to be popping off with magic damage, which makes it hard to itemize against this draft in the early game.
I'm trying to think of what Lornoff might play here. Feels like a pretty tricky pick for him.
What is that? Is in what they need for their draft? Just to fit his archetype of
like something that would fit Lornoff, but also make their draft come together. Because I agree with Mira. Looking at their supports, you would normally look at like some sort of hero that can start fights, some sort of hero that can kind of play more active and set things up for them. But that isn't really the type of heroes that he's played.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you see, Quinn?
A lot of the best answers to Earth Spirit are banned. I think the Puck, even though Puck is bad against Earth Spirit, could have been really good here, but Yandex bans it out. I don't think there's anything super obvious. I genuinely think it's going to be a bit of a weirder pick. Like, you could do something like a Viper that you try to win the lane really hard, but then it causes a lot of risk. You've got double turret. And so that's what we said before, is you've got this Clinks. He's the range damage dealer. If you pick another one, it makes your draft a little bit weird and puts a lot of burden on the other heroes. So I'm genuinely not super sure. This could be something like a Void Spirit, which we have seen Lornoff play before. And while it is not a great hero in general, it is the type of hero they need and also scales very well. And it's a game where he doesn't really need BKB, which is kind of the biggest Void Spirit thing.
the thing is, Void Spirit gets outpaced by Earth Spirit early on, and I think that you need the melee stun archetype, and I think Slardar is the only thing that fits the bill right now that can synergize with Clinks, but I don't know if Lornoff's a comfortable Slardar player. And the Doom does come out. The Underlord got cover banned by Nigma Galaxy, but this justifies the Rubik a little bit. You don't want to potentially give it away, and then you lose your Underlord or Doom in the last phase.
I think it's a good game for it. It's kind of bad against Doom. But it's a game where BKB is not super needed. You can go in and out and poke. And I think we talked about how they a lot of skirmish. Well, Void Spirit is fight start on a core that also is skirmish. And so you can play in a way where, okay, sure, they've got Magnetize and Doom, but you've got ways to kite and not fully commit. You throw a Bushwhack, you throw an arrow, Void Spirit jumps in, and none of you are really catchable at all during that period. And so they've got a cool way to fight. It's a synergy with Croak of Genius on Largo, so you've got the damage scaling, you've got the magic damage, and this hero scales insanely well with items. It's just a matter of getting there. So it's a cool pick. It's just, is this hero good enough to actually work, even though it makes sense?
I feel like you are the Void Spirit expert. When you look at the Void Spirit versus Earth Spirit mid-matchup, do you think Void Spirit can come out of that with enough of a lead to make things happen on side lanes? Because if Storm can't do it, and if Ember hasn't been able to do it this tournament, can the worst spirit of the four do it against him?
I think you can end up about even. You can end up about even, and you can enter some fights. Like, there's a lot of skill involved. This hero is not that good, so you've got to play really well when you're playing the hero. But if I believe in anyone to play this hero, genuinely, I think it's him right now. He's been so locked in. I think this is a hero you need to be very selfish and focused on yourself, because if you get too focused on others, you get poor, and then you're worthless. So I genuinely believe he has the skills to pay the bills.
And to touch up on the Doom last pick a little bit, this kind of solves the Largo. Like, if you just Doom Largo, the late game team fights and the sustain don't become much of an issue.
I mean, I personally really like Doom this entire tournament. I feel like it's just been a very stable offlaner, and it scales extremely well into the game. And like I said earlier, it puts a ticking time bomb on you. He has this very clear item build that he wants to go for in the end game, and having that, I think, makes the hero extremely powerful.
Yep, it's very true. I still see Void Spirit though, so I'm going with Void Spirit because it's just it's in my blood, you know. So.
I mean, that's what you said last night when you saw the sniper. Even though you said there's ways and abilities and tools to be able to counter that sniper to shut him down, you still went with him. It did well. The Void Spirit might be a similar sort of story. But Insane is over there shaking his head. What's your counter argument
No.
to avoid connoisseur?
My boy Doom is gonna cook this game. I feel like DM is gonna show why him joining Yandex was the reason they started winning tournaments, and I think he's gonna have a stellar performance on the Doom here.
I mean, I think if Yandex didn't lose confidence, this is an easy win for them.
Okay, so if they're still full confidence in everything, Yandex can have this one for themselves. We don't really know exactly where they are. The closest we could possibly get is more on the side of Nigma Galaxy because their coach Kuro is standing by with Tsunami.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm joined by Kuroki. It is currently 12:25 in Shanghai, and your boys just finished a 75-minute-long game. I gotta know how the stamina is feeling right now in the booth.
Yeah, we're used to it. Just another job.
Really, you're telling me you're casually playing these midnight games of Dota in a high-intensity situation like this to get top 3 potentially at TI, and it's just that chill.
We are just extremely grateful to be here, to be honest. So we are just enjoying every moment.
We're grateful to have you, Kuro. I was wondering if I could also get some insight on this draft, specifically the last pick. Yandex gets Earth Spirit. You guys end up picking Void Spirit to go against this. Was it a Lorenoff idea or a team idea?
We were thinking about a couple options. We're close to pick maybe Husker with the big Doom. And then we decided on Void Spirit.
And then last question is, it's a late night. These turnaround games from Nigma keep going very, very exciting. You think we're going to clean it out in a 2-0?
I hope so.
Well, I think the viewer base at home and the Europeans and North Americans waking up may also want a 2-0, or maybe they want to see some more Dota. Let's find out as we get into game number 2.
Thank you very much there, Neil and Kuroki. Yes, game 2 time, ladies and gentlemen, here between Nigma Galaxy and Yandex, and my goodness, still trying to recover for that game 1. What a game 1 to start this best of 3 series off. Coming into game 2, some similarities, some differences in the mid lane. Once again, Chira Jr. ready to roll with the Earth Spirit, and yet his final pick, Lorenoff, I think, he likes a challenge. Last game showed us that it can be done with this Storm against the Earth Spirit. I think if you ask all the other mates at the moment in the tournament, they consider this an even more, another level of challenge. Now he's going to try and show us that this Earth Spirit, you can beat it with a Void Spirit. A lot of mids, they don't even want to touch this hero.
No, and I'm super curious how this match, GH, is probably going to die down here, gets lifted. Is he having fire? Will survive for next game? He does survive. Yeah, I'm super curious to see how this one's going to go down, because yesterday, I know me and you, we had one of the most insane recovery type of games come out. Today, almost superseding that with these black holes. And then we had a very one-sided affair. Will that be the case in this one? Because we did see Yandex. They were running the show in that last game for the majority of the beginning of it.
Yeah, the dive comes in. They'll get GH. Can they get some mail as well? They can. It's going to be a double kill for Saxir and diving the tower, of course, as usual. That's what you would have seen at home on your screens. The first blood of this game did end up going down up top. The Nigma Galaxy was able to find with a dive onto Watson. The 2 for 2 already here in this early game.
And this early game, right? I have to say it again, right? Saksa, his early game was absolutely ridiculous in that last game. So I think that's the biggest thing for Nigma to weather the storm of this bottom lane, how much Saksa can actually do in terms of pressuring. And overall, too, looking at some of the differences in drafts in this game, I'm seeing a lot of cooldowns on one side and almost none on the other. I feel like the way that Nigma's going to look to play in this game is just some accelerated game, trying to play around these cooldowns, just get that momentum going. But have to be careful because their team fight, it does look quite a bit lackluster in comparison. Let's see how these lanes do end up going down. As we said, Yandex, they had a big advantage in the lanes last time.
You can move here onto Devi. Should find him. And they will. Securing kills already here for the 2 of them up top. It's a pretty safe lane here for Watson with the backup of Malady as the Wyvern. Yeah, keep Watson healed up and safe for the lane.
I feel like last game, I was mentioning at the start, Nigma, I thought that they had the hero picks in order to have the advantage in the laning phase, and it ended up being Yandex with the massive superior advantage in that laning phase. This time, I feel like it's Yandex with the superior laning heroes in particular to be able to apply that pressure. So I'm really curious how these lanes are going to go down and how the rotations are going to come down also. And it has to be a lot on Lorinov again, right? This time they don't have that clutch factor that's going to be coming from these BKB black holes that's uncounterable.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just going to have to be Lorinov making these moves, shutting things down, and slowing down Chira's momentum.
Which is going to be the difference, right? Because as you pointed towards, last game it really was Devi opening up the game to allow Lorinov to get to that point as the Storm, where he's able to make these insane plays late game, doing incredible amounts of damage as the Storm after a really slow start. Come around, might be harder to find that. Bottom lane, Samael.
Again, gonna go down. I don't want to say his name so many more times. Sox on a triple kill. Let's get the third one again. A lot of pressure being brought down here. And Clinkz in this game too, I was with the panel too. I mean, I get that this is a strong hero. It can be strong if you're able to play with that momentum, but this can be a difficult hero to play from behind.
Yeah, Chan's got a leap.
One remaining. Might just get clicked down. The boots are there on Soxa. He's got the extra hits once he gets the vision.
He's not going to see him immediately, but he's going to be ready to reach in under the tower. Anything else to help him out? There's not. A Fade Bolt's going to finish the job.
That's 4 for Soxa. Similar to last time.
Yeah, 4 kills, 4 minutes in. You don't always see that from these supports, but Soxa, he'll do that.
Mid lane, dead even though. Lorinov having a better matchup this time in comparison to the Storm than he was in the Storm Spirit, so is doing very well in that matchup. But top lane, Devi is struggling again. This is a full counter pick. We've been seeing some teams actually stray away from the Kez, but versus that Largo, this is one of the best answers. Teams have loved to pick this against it.
And I've got a
Melody might come out here.
Good drag back here in the bushwhack. He's going to be able to juke through the trees. Will still die.
Nicely done.
And Watson gets some cleanup in return. Both Omar and Devi very low. Omar will get sliced down here by the Kez. Devi will be fine.
Gets a courier. He'll be able to drag the creep wave too, so we'll get some more out of this lane. Lots of kills going down though. 6-3. Yandex again having that advantage. Enigma, as you said, did get that first blood, but Yandex in this laning position having this advantage at the moment. And DM is off to a hot start.
Oh, he is. Yeah, they're having a great time down here against the safe lane of Enigma Galaxy that's now going to have a +1. We're going to get the rotation coming in from Omar.
I think this is necessary. I think they have to accept the fact that this top lane isn't going to be a win. They have to start securing Clinkz some extra farm. He doesn't want to play from behind versus this matchup, versus the Earth Spirit, just like Panel was talking about. The Clinkz can just start to chain feed if he does get too far behind versus this ES. So I like this move from Omar.
They've got to secure Samael's early game here.
Yeah, just get him a little bit tankier, a little bit of that extra item so perhaps he can survive versus that collapse that will come on top of him. Malady will look to match these movements though. Moving toward the mid lane, gonna look to secure the power rune here for Chira Jr. And Chira has it 6, a little earlier than Lorinov. Lorinov does have to be careful how he shows, because he also did skill very aggressively on Lorinov. 2-0-3. No point to dissimulate to disengage. If he does get caught in these big silences, he could just die, and they get the catch.
Chira's going to get the setup here with the kickback into the Magnetize. He's going to go straight for the TP out.
Smart TP.
But he's away.
Big brain. Second, the roll connects. He knows they don't have the follow-up stun.
Bottom pressure continues on to Samael.
A much slower start for him this time.
He's still getting good CS though.
He is, but something I didn't even get to talk about Sumail too much in that last game. He was doing such a good job of just being this crazy distraction, applying so much damage. That was him playing one of his best heroes. I'm wondering how it's going to be with the Clinkz, because just Necro existing does a lot. Clinkz existing a little different with what you're going to be able to do in the game. Wisdom Shrine. Yandex looking to set up for the double again, just like last time. Even rolling in Devi.
Yeah, diving up towards the tier 2, getting the kickback.
Awkward with the kick.
And they should still find him though. Able to block him off, make sure that he can't run.
I mean, the early game again, it is getting pretty commanded here from Yandex. The double shrines, having these extra kills as well, having the free farm.
And I will say, it is quite the difference the hero that Devi's on. I think he's gone from literally the flashiest offlaner to the least flashy.
Yeah, and also we do have to mention for Lorinov too, right? He was playing his king hero, his Storm Spirit that he loves to play to scale. I'm wondering how the Void Spirit is in comparison, because as they said, it is one of the weaker of the spirits. Let's see how he's going to be able to do in this game versus some decent control for him too, right? This game, it's not just the Earth Spirit silence, it's the Kez that can be a little annoying for him too. So right now, doing very good, matching exactly versus the Earth Spirit.
Guys, gotta be careful. They might dive him again.
Oh, yeah,
Both support still here, ready to set up to make another move onto him. Get the lift up, drag him back over towards the damage of Watson. He's going to be dead again, Devi. They know that last game he really was the one to make the moves. They're doing everything to shut down Devi this time round.
Tower's gonna drop super early too. It's only 8 minutes in. Lornoff will get the F damage and should be able to find Chira here.
Is there a way for it to get out? No. He'll look at the magnetize out and a decent bit of damage onto the support. CP comes in from Saxa. Should be able to burst through at least Omar. Finding the trade, but indeed Nigma Galaxy going to be happy with taking Chira Jr. out of the game.
Nice. I mean, Lornoff is the clutch factor, right? In this game, it's him rather than the Largo. Very much so. They're trying to amplify him as well with the Largo. So getting him off to a good start, that does feel like the key for Nigma, for him to make these moves around to get the space. And they're no cooldowns on their drafts, right? That's the beautiful thing that we can look at.
Lornoff ready to make this rotation. Ready for the jump on towards GM. Going to be a very successful move.
Nicely done. Yeah, I'm so curious to see how this is going to be in the mid game, where it is just, I think, what's their longest cooldown ability, really, right? Like, it's Moonlight Shadow and Clinx's whatever, his small abilities, but there really is no cooldown that Nigma is really playing with. They can play super fast.
Actually found Omar.
He's 6 already. Omar's only 3.
Very, very squishy on the hook wing.
Toxa he's doing it again, just like last game. Running the show. Didn't end up battering that last one. But 3-level disparity between him and Omar is pretty insane. Sure, they did get the double shrine steal, but still. A lot of pressure in this early game. Another tower starting to get beaten on.
Yeah, pre-10 minutes. Pretty much looking like they're going to lose these 2 tier 1 towers.
H has another leap. Should be okay. Power Rune, though, they're going to finish the full tower. Yeah, it's gone. Potentially able to set up for that Power Rune as well to prevent Lornoff from getting the fill up. Will Lornoff go for this a jump and go for it here? He's under ward vision. He's playing a little bit careful here. Won't be able to. Shield Rune. Strong rune here for Yandex, for Chira. The damage on Nigma is a little limited early in the game. So versus this tanky Earth Spirit, this could be quite dangerous. Hooked up. Double supports on Yandex have hit the 6.
Gonna have to lock down the burst of damage between the two to sort of enable a kill in any of the lanes. If Nigma Galaxy isn't too careful.
Catch. GH only gets a leap steal. Isn't one of those big ones. There's quite some decent spells to steal this game. Sure, no big ulti flashy ones for the Rubik, but just these small ones. The arrow in particular. The Largo is also super powerful if you ever get the amphibian.
Chira, he's found Sumail. Top of him with the magnetize. Leap forward from Saxon, gets him with a fade bolt. They keep the magnetize going. Sumail not going to be able to keep himself alive. Omar needs to really watch from the side here. Still not really high enough level to get involved there with that sort of play.
Yeah, and also now with this space, he's starting to beat on the tower. All 3 of these tier 1s getting pressured super hard. Yandex accelerating quickly in this game. And for Devi, right, this is a hero where he kind of has to just sit on the side and farm. Can't really come in and help too much as this Largo in the early game. A lot of the
not
pressure,
a flashy hero.
I feel like all the pressure in this early game is on Lornoff.
It is.
Every single thing needs to be coming out from him. He's going to have the Vessel at a good timing, but he is already having that disparity. And looking at the Kez farm, Watson's untouched. Going for the Mage Slayer build, a very strong one this game, playing versus that Void Spirit versus the Largo. Another reason why teams do like that Kez versus the Largo.
Hunt here, Saxa to see if he can find Sumail, but Sumail a step ahead will make sure that he farms out of harm's way.
Sumail, he needs to get some decent timing on this Deso. If he doesn't get it, he's going to have a really difficult entry into this game. So I'd like just play as careful as possible. Probably don't show up to any of these next fights until you have that Deso. And then you can look for some of these fragile supports. You know, the Rubik in particular does not like to play versus these high physical burst heroes. So if he can't find Saxa, can't find some free grabs when he's got the Deso done for the Clinks. 3K lead though, Yandex. Spirit Vessel coming out for Chira. They're going to keep accelerating things.
Yeah, they're ready to start gravitating towards the bottom lane, see if they can find this 3rd tier 1 nice and early.
It's a lot harder too for Nigma to set up the kills on Watson in comparison than Yandex setting up the kills onto Sumail. If Sumail gets caught, he's likely just dead. Watson has ways to play around if he does get caught with the invulnerability with the Raven's Veil. Push continuing.
enough to let this tier 1 go.
Just an Earth Spirit Illusion to be able to tank the entirety of it. Smoke's coming out, level 6. Still not there for Omar. So that burst damage is lacking.
Hard to find someone up here at the moment. Nobody's around the side of the map for Yandex.
Maybe the Kez. Watson is starting to make his way back
has
down.
returned through the twin gate now.
And they full combo him.
Lauren off in with the jump.
Not easy to go for him here.
Doesn't see an angle to feel confident to lay down a remnant in an effort to grab him. So Watson's going to be fine.
Even if you do catch him, right, you don't know where Malady was. You're not completely aware of the positioning of the rest. It's dangerous to do that under the tower. They'll back up and reset.
Knowing where to cut their losses there, at least Nigma Galaxy not trying to make too greedy of a play.
I think if they have the Omar with level 6, perhaps they can go for this type of play with the high burst, even through Cold Embrace, but the fact that he's still not 6 yet on this Hoodwink is limiting their damage potential for some of these kills. Yandex looking for another steal. I mean, Omar this time will be able to get the Shrine. They are setting up for him, though. And they maybe anticipate that Devi is farming in this area, too, because this is literally where Largo always farms.
Sax is ready to get the setup. Telekinesis thrown back into the damage. Watson, Devi will get over to the tier 2, but the curse comes in.
It hits all 3.
Locks down the 3 of them and allows them to take Devi out.
Sumail.
Watson's considering continuing to dive around this tier 2. Sumail's pretty
Sumail's
low. Watson's going to get him with the ult. Sumail trying to heal up, but he's going to take down the damage of Watson. Dive for Chira Jr.
Nice push
back to the tower, but this might be a tier 2 dive too much. It's cost him Watson's life, and now Laurenov turns his efforts over towards Chira Jr. Jumps in with the Astral Step, the Remnants down. Chira Jr. is going to tick down low, trying to deny himself the 8.
He will.
Will succeed in doing so.
Ooh, that hurts. Laurenov really wanted that kill. Nice dodge of the silence there, jumping through it. They lose so much, even around their tier 2. The Clinks, Sumail, he actually turns up before the Deso is finished and ends up getting brought down just as a cannon fodder. He was just in the area of the curse and ends up getting whittled down from all the AoE damage.
So a little bit messy from Yandex.
Messy.
A few of their cores knocked off the map themselves, but nothing that they'll be too upset with. Maintaining this lead here, 15 minutes in, 4K advantage.
Would have been amazing if Laurenov does get the last touch, with the fact that the Earth Spirit denies himself. Ends up hurting a little bit. Here, Saksa now does have the Amphibian Rhapsody. He does have the song stolen. Pretty strong one for his team, too. 0-4 on him again. Sumail. I'm surprised that he did show up before that Deso. I did want to see him try to finish it. Now we'll be able to have it finished. That extra damage could be the difference maker in some of these fights. Has to find the back line, though. He is the difficult thing, too, for Sumail is in some of these games when you're playing something like this Clinks, you want someone else that's gathering some information for you. Arrow won't connect.
Cameron here for the next fight, Chira Jr.
They're not getting any time on the side of Nigma, also to take advantage of these cooldowns that Yandex does have. Yandex is getting to be able to reset, go for the next plays, magnetizes at the ready. Lorna farming well. That's the key, as we said. He really is the one to watch with this game, how much he can do and how much he can scale on the Void Spirit. Tough hero to make work, as we've seen in this tournament.
Still with Storm last game.
Good.
If he can do so again here on the Void Spirit, it's... And they said this at the start, the KDA is great, top net worth here for his team, not too far behind that of those to cause on Yandex.
And time perhaps for them to accelerate things here on the side of Enigma. They do have Omar with 6, Moonlight Shadows at the ready, they have GH with the setup with the Yules. Sumail, dangerous territory for him to go in though, under multiple sentries. They'll make the move top.
Axel, sensing something's up here, throws out the dust.
Oh, he reached the play. And now Omar.
The bushwhack off. Telekinesis is there though. Devi trying to drag Omar back to safety. Watson should be able to chase this down. Omar, that's going to save him.
Actually dispels it.
Going to keep him alive now. Laurenov feeds him with the counterplay. Makes the jump over to Malady. Malady gets the curse off. Doesn't matter. Laurenov already able to bring Malady down.
Nice reaction.
But now Chira Jr. is here, rolls forward. The Lick this time won't be able to bail Laurenov out. Devi cannot save him and has only ended up putting himself in a bit of a dangerous position. He'll try and run, but he's going to tick down low to the magnetizing the vessel. Yandex, they bring the numbers. This time they get 2 clean core kills, only losing their Wyvern.
Much easier for them this game to just set up for these kills and not have a threat as well too. Sumail's game much slower this time around, and they will find Lauren off. They're going to slow down that momentum he was starting to build up. Jira having a very good entry into this game again. BKB soon on the horizon. And Watson, this is a similar network that he had on the